ahead with all that.
Do you take back any of the anti-Semitic stuff you might have said?
Black people can't be anti-Semitic. We are Jew.
Well,
You understand what I'm saying? We are Jew.
I think
So cool out. Until you do your facts, until you really do the facts with the fake indoctrination that y'all pull into the schools and all that, you know what I'm saying? We're not following y'all rules.
I mean, just like calling Defcon on Jews and that sort. Like, do you take back any of that sort of more extreme stuff?
You know
said?
what? For all the kids that love me, all the Jewish kids that love me, I'm sorry if y'all had to hear a grown-up conversation with a.
All right, so when getting into Mr. West, obviously, there's a lot of contracting and contradictory occurring throughout his statements. But one thing is consistent. His marketing team is doing all they can to combat the big machine, aka the major labels. As if you don't know, Kanye West is currently independent, and he put out an album titled Vultures 1, completely under YZY, which is his own brand. Let me make sure that's correct. Yeah, YZY, which is, of course, Yeezy. Everybody knows. But the reason I bring that up is because now he has 100% ownership of his Vultures 1 album that he did in collaboration with Ty Dolla $ign, but the sample clearance, the hoops that he has to jump through as far as touring, as far as a lot of the publications that he cannot be on because of the blacklisting done because of his words saying things like this right here.
West's account over an anti-Semitic tweet that he posted on Saturday. In a since removed tweet, West said he was going Defcon 3 on Jewish people. He added, quote, "You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone, whoever opposes your agenda." So this is coming after his Instagram account was also restricted for.
So everybody heard that, saw that, and guess what? Now they are reacting in a fashion that I think is well deserved. So my personal opinion is, if you say things like Defcon 3, not knowing the meaning behind it. I mean, actually, let's look up the actual definition of Defcon 3, right? Because I don't think people really realize what Kanye West is saying, and then he'll act like, oh, they're doing this because I'm black. The conflating of, I think that's the right word, the conflating two issues into all of this backlash being because you're black, even though you said, let's go Defcon 3 on the Jewish community, which I looked up the definition, is a defense readiness condition used by the United States Armed Forces, represents an increased in force readiness above that of normal readiness. It is often seen as a standby alert and is the highest level of alert during peacetime. So, after he said that, and he, you know, of course, deservedly got blackballed, he had his album go through a tumultuous time and being taken down, put back up, taken down again. Because if you don't know, Usher also released the album around that same time. No, actually that same day. And he previously was just on the Super Bowl. And who also made a Super Bowl appearance? Kanye West. I mean, he was doing everything he could to combat the major label. All the big machines, the major labels wanted Usher to have that #1 as far as first week album sales because of them propping him up, and not only ads, billboards, but he was literally the headline performer at the Super Bowl. So everybody and their mama was on this man's side, and Kanye West, who put out an album that same day as him, came out at his own marketing machine, which is the Super Bowl, and put out this fake Super Bowl commercial. Well, to this day, I don't know where this aired, but everybody swears that Kanye West Super Bowl commercial happen during the Super Bowl game. But if you don't know what it actually looked like, also Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio. But this is what the commercial actually looked like right here.
All the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial. But the idea is, I want you to go to Yeezy.com, YEEZY.com, and I'm gonna write it at the bottom of the screen. And I got some shoes, and that's it.
So, of course, he's meeting the pioneer as far as the Super Bowl marketing head artist at his own machine and basically putting out his own Super Bowl commercial. Because basically, if you don't know, the whole tool of being a Super Bowl performer is you don't get paid, but all type of promotion is had via eyes, and then it converts into streaming sales, which it does with every single musician. Obviously for Usher, the album that he just put out may not get as many streams because that's not the nostalgic feel that people was going for. People was going for tracks like Burn, well, Let It Burn, I forget what it's called. But basically all the iconic tracks from Usher that was played at the Super Bowl, those get like a huge boost in streaming sales. But as far as the album that he just put out, they was also listening to that, which was impacted by the label that he was on, basically trying to get him a #1, because every musician's price as far as promotion, booking, information, all of that goes up whenever you have a #1 album. So Usher, who put out an album under Mega/Gamma, I don't even know what that is. Oh, I think he said he was independent and then named like a bunch of people who's ahead of the major labels. Usher is he's definitely a veteran when it comes to marketing PR games. But Kanye West actually being independent was going against a huge machine. And so he put out the Super Bowl commercial at the same time that it was supposed to be a big push for Usher. But you have to stay with me because I have a lot of tidbits, a lot of sound bites that ties back into Kanye West versus cancel culture. If you think for 1 second that the major labels wanted Kanye West to have a #1, which as you can see right here, he ended up doing after many attempts to literally take the album off DSPs, which I don't think was a marketing ploy. I think they was actually trying to take the album down at this point. And for him to still have so many sales off of that commercial that I just showed you during quote unquote the Super Bowl, which I just think he put out on social media during the Super Bowl. I don't think it actually aired because I can't find anybody to be like, oh yeah, that happened. I saw that while the game was going. Usually it was just like, I'll see it on social media and that was it. So that commercial leading to obviously the sales you see right here as far as the Yeezy reports, and that's not even it. Like you could say Kanye West is making up his own numbers or whatever, but it's even backed up by chart data, Billboard. I mean, Vultures Volume 1 reached #1 on streaming services. And during the Super Bowl, after the ad was played, and I don't know what the time length was it as far as the timeline as far as garnering this income, but basically 19 million in merch sales, preventing they say bankruptcy, but I think every rich person says that just so they don't have to pay taxes. But what anyways, so 19 million in merch sales based off of was the result off of the Super Bowl ad. I think the marketing team for Kanye West has done a tremendous job in combating the cancel culture. That's why I'm bringing it up. The main point is Kanye West versus cancel culture is a real thing. And even though you could say, oh, Kanye West is a billionaire, so 19 million is nothing to him. First off, 19 million is a lot to anybody. I mean, I think Rihanna literally, if you look it up, Rihanna literally just did a performance for 9 million and she never performs because it was some birthday party, I think. Let me see. Yeah, Rihanna literally came out of retirement for like some overseas performance. Yeah, 9 million to perform at a Indian business tycoon. Tycoon? Say. I don't even know if that's a slur or whatever. Anait Ambani's wedding. Hold up, let me bring this up so y'all can see the source. So you can look this up for yourself, right? I don't just make stuff up like this up. Rihanna literally just received $9 million, and you could argue, not even argue, I think she is a billionaire. Like, so 19 million is a lot. I mean, Rihanna's coming out of retirement for 9 million to perform. There's a lot of things that would be done for 19 million, to put that in perspective. So anyways, going back to Kanye West. So all of that was a success. Vultures reached number one. Yeezy Super Bowl ad comes into, and as a result of that Super Bowl ad, the results are 19 million in merch sales. So Kanye West is back again, basically talking about how the people have spoken, if you can't see in the top right. And he also promos Yeezy.com again. And you're probably wondering, why not just pull up his Instagram, since it's obviously from his Instagram, right? Why not just pull up the post itself? Well, if you go to his Instagram, there's literally one post, and I don't know what this is. Is this the track? Talking / once again. Oh, okay, so he's just showcasing the music video from the track with his daughter titled Talking. So that's the only post up there. So that's why I'm using this, because obviously he took it down. But one of the things that was alarming, because I have so many tidbits to get into, because Kanye West versus cancel culture is probably at this point the realest indication, and no, it's the realest depiction of what would happen in the real world if the biggest musician tried to go against music labels in a very egregious fashion. Because everybody loves to say, oh, Drake can just go independent and change up the whole music industry, which is actually true. But the relationships that you keep while going independent will help you pull a Usher, where he says he's independent, but then in the same interview, this was in Shannon Sharp's interview, basically he said he was he said he was independent, and in the same breath named like 3 or 4 people that literally runs the music industry helping him distribute his album, right? So with Kanye West burning, and I mean straight up just eviscerating all relationships that he had, and his transition into becoming independent is a very distinct difference versus somebody like a Drake or a Usher going independent, because they most likely at this point in time, we could probably say that they're not going to go on this tirade like Kanye West. And so they would keep their relationships, which will make them have the powerful connections that you still need to have certain promotion. Kanye West, I think, is the most organic sample size of the most organic experiment, like real lifetime experiment on what it would look like to be the biggest musician in the world, go completely independent, not have your connects that still makes you, part of the industry. So now you burned all your connects. You're completely independent. Put out an album and see how it does against other major label artists. And Kanye West has shown that it is possible, if you have the organic fan base that took him decades to build up. It's still possible to compete with the major label. Because I think he sold, let me see if I can find it. I think he sold around 200,000 first week. I think that was like way off. Hold up. Because Vultures won first week sales. So, one of the more successful rap debuts, because of the first #1 independent album of the decade. So, first independent artist to ever go #1 in a decade. I say all the time, independent artists can't really compete with major label artists, basically because of, one, behind the scenes games are going to be played, because instead of giving you that look on the radio, they're going to give it to somebody else who's fronting them. Even though I'm not accusing radio stations of payola, let's just say they may be incentivized to promote a certain artist that may in turn get them actual promotion from that major label whenever it comes to it down the road. Because if you have 100% creative control, what incentive does the major label have to just let your music shine and they get none of the proceeds? So they have to make it look like the only way you could become a Drake or a Jay-Z or Rihanna is to use us as a tool, which in turn gives them the one up, because they give you that advance always. But then at the end of the day, in the long term, they're going to make more over time. So with you keeping 100% profits, creative control, you're never going to compete with a major label artist. It took a Kanye West, who is literally arguably the greatest of all time when it comes to music creation, to have the first #1 album as an independent artist. Well, the first #1 in first week sales album as an independent artist. So also, Carnival is his highest charting single in 15 years. People literally said Kanye West topping the charts is over because of him, quote unquote, being blacklisted, which technically he is blacklisted still. And Carnival, I think, hold on, I have an actual chart that I go to for this. I know all my Kanye fans is probably like loving this segment, because usually I don't get into Kanye West like this, because I don't really like, unless he's dropping music, I'm not covering this man, because he definitely has a lot of things that's just like off with him, like literally. So I'm trying to find it. I don't know why it's not pulling up, knowing I have it. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, so we have the top 3. Okay, and then I'm trying to get into the actual list. The Billboard Hot 100 official singles. Let me see if you chart. Okay, number 9, which it peaked at number 9, I guess, and it's been on the charts for 13 weeks at this point. Is that what they said? Longest. Let me see. What was that? What was L last week? Okay, last week it was 13. I was like 13 weeks. Okay, so it peaked at number 9, and it's been on the charts for about 3 weeks. And let's just say he's surrounded by a lot of musicians on major labels. Even though I like these artists, still have to call them out. Ariana Grande's signed to a major label. Dua Lipa signed to a major label. Noah Kanan. I mean, we ain't even talking about hip hop artists at this point as far as him competing. Beyonce obviously is on a major label. Teddy Swims, I don't even know who that is, but he has the #2 track in the world currently. It's just one of those things where you look at it and you realize the type of numbers that Kanye West is putting up is not normal, because independent artists are never supposed to compete with major label artists. There's a reason why you see popular major label artists try to act like they can go independent and then they never reach the charts again. Or at least, let alone the top 10, they never reach the top 50 again. A win for an independent artist is probably cracking the top 200. And I kid you not, like that's literally the litmus scale as far as how hot a independent artist is. Why you think everybody wanted to sign Central C a year or 2 ago? Because he was actually putting up numbers in a way that independent artists aren't supposed to. And was he ever putting up top 50 tracks or singles? Of course not. But at this point in time, everybody is going to look at that and say, oh, well, if he can do it, I can do it too, which it's just not feasible. Let me see. Okay, so I had another one. I have like multiple charts I look at just to cross reference. And then the overall song streams, I think this is, yeah, okay. It is #2, has Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign Carnival with 23 million streams. And then Usually it has like how much they've made and stuff, but it doesn't have that right now. But anyways, so the overall song streams, Carnival is number 2, only to Beyonce's Texas Hold'em. So as far as the charts, obviously Kanye West is at number 9, but like I just told you, the charts are major label games, so they're playing all type of tricks and whatever tactics they can employ to lower Kanye West's status. But overall, the song is number 2 as far as streams. So, and even in the market share, Others is 11%, while Universal Music Group, Universal Music Group is at 30%, Sony is at 38%, and this is all major labels care about right here, market share. Sony has 38% in the market right now. Universal Music Group has 30% in the market. Warner has 21% of the market, and then the Others has 11% in the market. So that 11% is probably for all the other independent artists putting out music on distro, just all type of platforms that I forget what the other one is. Is it Empire? I forget the other one. Anyways, I don't call myself Analytic Dreamz for no reason. I really be breaking down these numbers and be trying to understand what in the world is going on. Because I feel like Dark Rivers sometimes, like, people got to see what's going on. Like, these rappers be straight up lying to you. Like, they are not out here performing like you would think they are. So, anyways, talking about performing, hopefully I don't get flagged for this on Spotify because I'm trying to make a point that's not endorsing this individual. But we do have to bring up Adolf Hitler because this is ridiculous. Now, I want y'all to look at this. We're going to have it side by side, just so y'all don't think I'm making this up. Let me bring this up first. Okay, so this is Kanye West's Twitter account, of course, right? Let me bring this down. Okay, this is Kanye West's Twitter account. And I'm just going to put something to the side of it. And y'all let me know if I'm tripping, right? I'm just going to put something to the side of it. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping.
You know, life is not a solo project. Mm-hmm. And I believe that being the single richest black man in the world cannot secure your position in order to move people. Right. A king needs an army, and it became an army. It was like, yo, Ty is with me. He came to my party.
All right, so for my people who's over at Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio, y'all seen the comparison I just made. All I gotta say is, y'all let me know if I'm tripping or not, but I think his marketing team purposely used this filter, used this type of imagery to perpetuate a certain person. Let's just say that and mimic and show inspiration. Obviously, you could say, oh, I mean, back in the day, all the footage looked like that. But you know what Kanye West been attached to, and you know good and dang well in 2024, there's no excuse for any footage to be looking like that. So you know what he's trying to do. So anyways, what else? There was other stuff I was trying to get to. Like when I said we was gonna get into Kanye West versus cancel culture, I was being dead serious because this is probably the biggest. Oh, here we go. Okay, I have another sound bite. This is Kanye West talking about him versus Adidas, I believe. Yeah.
Not only are
oh, that's super loud. Hold up. I'll turn this down. Okay, let's try this again.
Not only are they putting out fake colorways that are non-approved, they're suing me.
He's talking about Adidas.
$250 million.
Okay, and then it just plays, you know, it goes back into whatever. But anyways, so Kanye West basically said Adidas is suing him for $200 and some million. So I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, okay. So the Jewish thing is the biggest reason why Kanye West is going through all this. It's not because he's black. It's not because he's like, oh, empowering independent artists. It's none of that. It's because he's literally going against the Jewish community as a whole, to the point where I think people forgot about this too. I think I had to search this one up. But Kanye West apologizes and he did it in a very distinct way. Like, it wasn't like I don't think it was a real apology, because the way he put this up. Yeah, here we go. This is from shout out to Say Cheese. This is from Say Cheese right here. So as you can see, Kanye West apologizes to the Jewish community, saying, and this is all the way back in December. So this is way before he even started to I'm not gonna say market his album, but this is way before that album came. He apologized to the Jewish community, saying, "I deeply regret any pain I may have caused." Now, why in the world is he using this font? Look, somebody, I'm glad fans are starting to see through this, because somebody at the bottom says, trying to make sure he has that support, being he trying to put out some music. I get it. See, I love that fans are more educated nowadays on the industry side of things, because he not just coming out because he's sorry for saying Defcon 3. He's sorry that he got caught and got punished. He's sorry that he's lost millions upon millions with that comment. He's not sorry about the pain that he caused. He is regretful and sorry because of the pain that it's caused him. So, anyways, shout out to Say Cheese for that. That's probably one of my favorite hip hop platforms, besides like academics, of course. But anyways, what else? So Kanye West versus cancel culture is still going to this day. I don't think it's ever gonna stop, because the imagery that he uses, the things that he says regarding the Jewish community, it's a real deeper conversation to be had, because even though he faces all these challenges, like talking about the long partnership with Adidas, independent releases, stuff being used as a tactic against him, as far as like people in the industry, not even people, machines at this point in the industry having lifelong experience, because these major labels never go away. It just replaces the head, right? So this corporation that's going to be around for forever is using these 100+ years of experience to go against this man, and he's still having somewhat a financial success when it comes to his independent release and his merch sales. So I would say ultimately Kanye West versus cancel culture is one of the more iconic depictions we've ever had as what would happen to a very popular artist going against machines and going against everything that would be considered safe. So him going out on the limb, saying all these things about the Jewish community, very offensive comments, I might add, makes the whole Kanye West versus cancel culture culminate into a very unconventional approach and a lot of self-promotion. But at the end of the day, you still can't neglect the fact that it's still, to this day, having and resonating with a significant portion of his audience, which led him to have these sales as far as album going #1 and all of these Yeezys selling out, basically having 19 million as far as a profit. So I mean, at the end of the day, my personal thoughts on it is that Kanye West definitely needs a resurgence as far as apology is considered. Like, at least he apologized. A lot of artists don't even apologize. So I would say at least he apologized. But then, because of his apologies being very contradictory of his actions, the second part of that is actually going to this whole year showcasing how much you've changed and how much you actually are not against the Jewish community. And comparing yourself to Adolf Hitler is not helping the imagery at all. So these unconventional marketing strategies, including the Super Bowl ad, even though it might be successful, you cannot keep going against the Jewish community and thinking that they are not going to end up actually making you bankrupt. Like, forget lying that you're bankrupt to not pay taxes. They're going to actually make you go bankrupt and successfully end up canceling you if you keep trying to act against them as a whole community, if that makes sense. So I think he needs to stop with the words and show a lot of action this whole year. And I think that means that he would have to probably swallow his pride and ego. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to cover this Kanye West versus cancel culture, because I think a lot of people was wondering. Like, I got a lot of questions about Kanye West, and I post Kanye West sometimes to my social medias, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I one time like last year when he was going on like the Alex Jones stuff, I posted a Kanye West video, and I got the weirdest message ever. It was like, oh, if you post him again, it didn't say shadow ban necessarily, but it said, we're not gonna show you in recommended, in non-followers feeds, basically all the type of stuff to basically let you know to shadow ban. So yeah, do of that what you will. There was very unique messaging that came with Kanye West doing what he was doing, and it made sense. So at this point in time, I think the only way for him to go on the apology tour is with action, not words. So but at the end of the day, it's Kanye West. Vultures went #1, first #1 album for an independent artist in like the past decade plus. So he's probably just gonna still think that he's bigger than the culture when it comes to them trying to cancel him. So that being said, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you necessarily think about Kanye West versus... what do you personally think about Kanye West versus cancel culture? And also, how do you think Kanye West can come back from him being quote unquote canceled?